It was the story all over the news in Adelaide, leading into Showdown 56. Josh Rachele, known for his showmanship and celebrations, said this about Port Adelaide fans.
Let fly this insult on breakfast radio, not once.
You can just hear all the Port fans with their no teeth in the background.
But twice.
Do you want to have a spray? Because you can, the microphones are on.
Yeah, I won't spray. I did mention on Nova before that the Port supporters don't have many teeth, so that was a...
Oh, really?
On Saturday night, he'll face...
With the round 23 showdown being a Port Adelaide home game, the pressure on Rachele was extreme and he had to back up the comments. Rachele and the Crows started well, as the game was close early on. He had his moment late in the second quarter and did kick a great goal from just inside 50. Despite the game being neck and neck, he couldn't help himself and went another step further, taunting the Power fans by pointing at his teeth while smiling. He finished with just 10 disposals and 2 tackles as the Crows would go on to lose, not being helped by Isaac Rankin's absence, which did help Port gain momentum. Only a few days after it was leaked Rachele would be dropped, not just due to his performance in Showdown 56 and the week leading into it, but because of team values he hasn't been up to standard with. He copped criticism from all angles after the game, and it's fair to say his wind-up came back to bite him. But at least he didn't do it twice in 1 year like Essendon Sam Draper. He is a cult figure and personality of the sport, and he lived up to the mantra early in 2024. In round 6 against Adelaide, Essendon held on for a great away win, albeit through a bit of luck. With only seconds left, Draper clearly dived straight on top of the ball, looking like a holding the ball free kick was about to be paid. The umpire blew his whistle for another ball up, and then the siren went. Adelaide players went mad, and rightly so, but it was when Draper did this diving action post-game, it infuriated Crow supporters. Skip forward to round 19, and football karma would bite back at Draper. With Essendon up by 10 points against Adelaide, Draper took a big contested mark early in the last quarter. The shot from 15 metres out was a gimme, and he catapulted it right into the post. Fittingly, the Crows would kick the last 3 goals of the game. The game-winning goal itself came from Josh Rachele, who had his own James Hird type moment against Essendon. If Draper had converted his shot into 6 points, the result surely would have been different. You could say his second time around was even worse. In the pivotal round 22 game against Gold Coast, Draper had 3 great quarters. He kicked this goal close to half time and pulled out the Olympic shooting celebration. In total, until 3/4 time, Draper had 3 goals to his name and was playing well. However, once again early in the fourth, he had another simple set shot at goal to put Essendon in front. It went to the right again. 4 minutes later, he received another free kick and a chance to give Essendon a 2-goal buffer. From a similar spot, he started at too far left and missed again. In total, the Bombers kicked 1 goal 9 in the quarter, and with 30 seconds left, Draper got destroyed in a one-on-one with Sam Collins, and it allowed him to get a deep entry in, leading to the McAndrew mark and eventual game winner. As much as Rachele has been criticised for his antics, maybe Draper needs to put away his for a little bit of time as well. Nathan Brown, over his 219 game career, celebrated and showboated both at the Western Bulldogs and Richmond. The first came in 2002 against North Melbourne. The round 2 matchup between the sides saw the Bulldogs maintain control for most of the first half. Up by 20 points with 40 seconds left, a boundary throw-in led to the Dogs winning the ball and rush kicking it inside 50. It was a great crumb, and the handball led Brown into an open goal. Not only did he at first show the ball and look back to the opposing North players, but gave the bird to the people in the cheer squad. David King wasn't happy and came up to remonstrate. Up until the first goal of the last quarter, kicked by Daniel Jansaracusa, which had the Bulldogs lead by 27 points, it didn't look like Brown's early game antics would backfire. However, it was David King that got North Melbourne back up and running with a great long running goal. The score was 94-67 when Gia had kicked that goal, and the Dogs managed just 3 points from then on, while the Kangas kicked a huge 6 goals and 7 behinds. It was a big comeback as Brown was quiet in the final quarter of the match. But nothing can ever beat celebrating a draw. In round 5 2018, Richmond, with 5 minutes of game time left, were up by 19 points against the Western Bulldogs. Brown had kicked 3 goals against his former side, and they looked on track to get an important win. Another minute and a half went off the clock as Jake King conceded a rush behind to get the margin to an even 3 goals. The first mistake led to a Daniel Cross chase down tackle, and he finished off the play. Brown's former teammate in Bob Murphy kicked another classy goal weaving through traffic to get the Tigers' lead down to a single goal. Then with 40 seconds left, Brian Lake, who was moved forward, took a big pack mark. But because of cramp, the ball was somehow handed to Big Will Minson. He's probably the last person you would want shooting for a clutch goal, but his kick never looked like missing. Then this happened.
Wilson wants to go. Clock is down at 2 seconds. We've got a draw. Now that's interesting. I think he thought he was going to get the free kick. Nathan Brown was celebrating.
Brown celebrated for a second, but then clearly realised the game was a draw. In a Herald Sun article, Brown said this about the celebration. For some reason, I thought obviously that we'd won, and being an ex-Doggies player, it means a bit more to win those games, particularly when they're close. I got it wrong. The ball came out of the middle, it got kicked to me, went over my head a little bit, and the siren sounded, and I thought we were in front. I turned around, and Ryan Hargrave looked at me and goes, "What are you doing?" I realised it was a draw, put my arms down, and then I see Robert Murphy, who was at centre half forward at that stage, charging 100 metres down the ground to give me an absolute earful, as most Doggies players do. It's rare to put any Sydney player in a video like this, especially one of the ilk of Luke Parker, but in 2022 against Essendon, he was under the spotlight. The Swans destroyed the Bombers at the SCG in round 9 by 58 points, with Parker kicking one of the goals of the game straight out of the centre bounce. It was on the way back that to Dylan Shield, he taunted him. No Essendon player did anything about it, and it led to club champion Matthew Lloyd saying this on the Sunday Footy Show.
In life or disrespected in any way, and I thought Dylan Shield was disrespected in a way you never want to be treated as a footballer, and this was the next contest. I would have ploughed straight through Parker here and got him to the ground and said, "You will never ever treat me like that again." Free kick. I wouldn't have cared what happened. It'd be hopefully.
That's taken that whole conversation to a new zone, though. If someone else would have had a version of events of that was undisciplined, and that's the sort of behaviour you don't want as a player, I would have thought.
No, I'm saying, like,
if you were to cannon into...
I'm cannon into him, fair enough. If you don't give away a free kick, even better, all right? But I'm talking, like, just don't, you can't be walked. Do you reckon Joel Selwood will go again if he was...
But no one would have done that to Joel Selwood.
That's right. So I'm saying Dylan Shield isn't that type of player to do it, but I would have loved if someone else did it on his behalf.
The two clubs would next meet in round 16 of the same year. The Swans got off to a blistering start, up by 23 points in the first quarter, and looked like they would easily account for Essendon again. Slowly but surely, the Bombers fought back in the contest, and the margin set at 4 points heading into the last. The Swans made another 3-goal gap on the scoreboard, but it was the package who went bang, with back-to-back goals that lit up the MCG. The sound went to another level when Mason Redmond kicked a classic running goal. Nick Hine finished Sydney off and was one of Essendon's best wins of 2022. They stood up in the clutch and left no more room for any taunting, physically matching it with the season's grand finalists.